Namaste and welcome. This video is about Dark Night of the Soul. It's with a heavy heart I decided to talk about it. I lost a friend this year who entered Dark Night of the Soul but did not make it. Dark Night of the Soul is very intense. It's like a black hole almost. This is the best way I can put it because it is so intense that it's undescribable. No one can describe it. There is no steps to get out of it. You can just, it's not like a course we take where we can describe it step by step. It is very mystical. It'll either make you powerful or either break you or make you ready for your next life if you didn't survive this one. So intense, very, very intense. If you landed on this page, most of the people who land on this video, you might have either gone through Dark Night of the Soul, because it's so hard to Google this term when you're going through this. It's almost impossible. The number one sign I would say that you are entering the Dark Night of the Soul is extreme isolation. Wherever you are, whatever you do, you feel isolated. It's so intense, the isolation is so intense. It's that you might be with people, you might have a lot of friends, but deep down that hole is growing. That dark side is just growing in you. It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's intensifying itself, and there is no escape from it. It happens for a very good reason. It happened to Jesus Christ. It happened to all the people who are mystical. Without Dark Night of the Soul, you can't cross to a certain dimension. You cannot evolve further. Dark Night of the Soul is your process of evolution, your process of clearing the illusions you had. And it's like we are fed with a lot of information from our childhood. So much information which is not true. It's like a program we had from our childhood. The whole idea of who we think we are, and from the very beginning of our education, the way our intelligence grew, and all these things from our childhood, every possible step which caused the illusion we have so far, before you entering the Dark Night of the Soul, till that point, everything will get washed out. At least most of it, if not everything. Because you'll feel like you're dying. You literally feel like you're dying. There is no escape from it. You cannot escape it. If you are in that zone, that means if you entered the Dark Night of the Soul, your soul is maturing. It's transformation itself. The consciousness is rising in you. You're going to the next level. Your death of the old consciousness is inevitable. This is like, without your old consciousness, the level of the illusion you had, without that dying, you cannot take the next step. You cannot cross further. The crossing process itself feels like you're dying. This is a very intense process. I've seen some YouTube videos where people didn't even go through that but describing it from read articles and stuff. I just felt like I need to do a video on this seriously, because it's not something you describe from reading an article. Dark Night of the Soul is intense. It's very intense. There are some people who went through, you can see them when they're talking, there is intensity in their eyes. There is intensity in their voice. They felt it, they know what it is. So I felt compelled to explain this thing and how intense is it and why this happens and this whole consciousness change and how it feels like. The number one thing, before you're entering, you lose all your friends. This is meant to happen. If you're clinging to your friends, if you're clinging to the people who are in your life with the fear you have, the process gets tougher. It'll put more pressure on you, because this is happening for a reason. It is taking you to the depth of your own dark side of your own soul. Without crossing that boundary, you will not know your true strength, because it is in your own darkness, in the depth, you will find your own light. That's there for you, that's just there for you. But we are too caught up in the worldly affairs and stuff. We think whatever we are pursuing is important than our own soul's journey. We keep living in this sleep state, and we move from sleep state to sleep state every day. We do unconscious actions every day, unaware of what we are doing. All these things will pile up. The major cause for dark night of the soul can be a relationship, a very strong relationship breakup to the point you are about to die. Very abusive childhood, which was my condition. I was beaten up pretty bad by my parents and I was insulted a lot. My core was hurt when I was very young, when I was years old, because their demand for the grades in school is very high and they used to beat the shit out of me. So in their view, they're trying to help me to get good grades and make me more intelligent. But in my view, I feared that they'll kill me, because there were so many situations in my life I felt so traumatic, deep down, so traumatic, so panicked. It's another level of fear. When I was 6 years old and 7 years old, when I was getting beaten pretty bad, I shivered in shock. It's utter shock. I don't know what to do at the time. I was helpless. So that was there. That hurt was there. Every decision I took from that point of my life is from fear. It took me many years, many years of a lot of work, reading psychology books and so much stuff I did on myself, and a lot of self-work, a lot of meditation. I was able to find that spot where I was terrorized with fear. That was the root cause, which made me take actions, unconscious actions, because of my own fear from 7 years old to now, which I'm 35. So it's like this whole life, all the decisions, the ground was fear, the ground was shock, that ground was trauma. From there I began. So that is my cause. But all the actions I took, all the unconscious and illusionary actions I took, which caused me my own dark night of the soul. A relationship breakup triggered it, but it was there when I was 7 years old. When I got hurt, it just began right there. It was not ripe to open up. So my dark night of the soul was very intense. I was in the zone, in the deepest part, in the core of the dark night. I was there for 3 months. I was living dead in those 3 months, extreme indifference. I wake up and find myself in the middle of the road sometimes, just walking. After 1 hour of walking, I'll know that I just started walking and didn't even think where I was walking. Just go to a park and sit down there. It was just deep indifference. I was already dead for those 3 months. It's like if someone just comes and kill me at the time, I wouldn't even know that someone is trying to kill me. I was in that state, in that depth. So this is what dark night feels like. You cannot escape it. There is no one else who can help you. You cannot get help at the time because you don't know what you're going through. It's too fearful to talk to people. It is not something you can explain it to people, what you're going through, because there are no words to describe the dark night of the soul. But if you're going through that, you don't even know that you're going through a dark night of the soul. That is the magic of dark night of the soul. It's a curse or a blessing, I don't know. I can't describe it. I can't name it because it'll empower you. It'll empower you very strongly to the point you will not fear death anymore in general. Death is part of life. It'll come anyway, sooner or later. We have a very short life. The life is really short if you don't know how to use it. It's so short that it can happen anytime, and it's just an exhalation, and you never inhale again. It's that simple. It can happen in a second. So when you're that close in facing because I was right in front of my death for 3 months. I was right there with it. Everywhere I go, it's right there with me. So this intensity cannot be escaped. You cannot escape it. It has its own energy. It has its own drive. It'll show you what you need to see to evolve. It will not let you escape. That's one of the reasons dark night is so intense. We are so caught up with all the worldly things, we forgot giving time to ourselves. This is one of the most intense things I've ever experienced in my life. Undescribable depth. It is beyond good and bad. You can't name it that it is good or it is bad. It is so divine, but that divine part wouldn't come till you take a step out of the dark night. The very first leap. Once you take a single step out of it, you'll see your own light. Till that point, it will be intense. It will be very, very intense. And you will have thoughts. You will have thoughts that you want to end your life. It will come up. For some people, very quick moments, there might be some thoughts. But for many people, you might be like, I was like living dead. I'm like dead already. But when the dark night was beginning, I had thoughts, definitely, of ending my life. These are just thoughts. I'm not taking any action on it. Just thoughts. They're coming. But I observed it. I let it go. I entered the dark night. And it made me question everything in my life. Everything. Not leaving. Once the dark night was finished, it renounced everything in my life. It renounced all the relationships, all the bonds I have, all the things I have. All of a sudden, the whole thing all the things I have, the material things, became heavy for me. I'm unattached to any materials in my home, in my life, as of now. It's like, I like to live my life minimally. I'm planning for that in the next 1 year. Since I'm here, when I make a move from this home, whenever that is, I like to live very minimally. It's lighter for me and it's easier for me. Once you cross the dark night of the soul, once you find your own strength, all the things and all the stuff That might be people, places, money, everything that has hold on you. It'll go. It just release you. You are released from all the stuff which is piled up in you. Your emotions, your connections, people who have control on you because of your dependency on them and their dependency on you. Everything will be renounced. You will absolutely feel lighter. You like to be with yourself more. I was in my aloneness since past 2 years. I was lonely before 2 years. But my loneliness changed into aloneness in these past 2 years after my dark night of the soul. Aloneness is you having connection with yourself. You are in good company with yourself. It is a blessing. It is nothing like it. Once you find the connection with yourself, there will be thoughts that you feel lonely, but those are like, it's like once in a blue moon kind of thought. Every 3 months you'll have 30 minutes to 1 hour of I might need something, I might need some friends, it's like every 3-4 months 1 to 2 thoughts will come up. You might if you get into those thoughts, you might feel a little bit low at the time. That will not stay for a long time. Dark night of the soul is for you to get connected to your soul. You lost it due to the situations you had in your life. That might be parenting, whatever the problems are. It's like you might be in a traumatic situation, whatever the conditions are. We lost connection with ourselves. Dark night of the soul is the process of removing your delusions and connecting to yourself. One of the most powerful, intense, and sweetest thing you can ever experience is dark night of the soul. Initially you will hate it because you just don't know what's going on. Initially you'll fear, first of all. You'll literally fear that you're dying. In the process of the beginning of the dark night of the soul, beginning might be 1 year before, 6 months before, 3 months before the dark night of the soul. That tenure, that time might be anything. It is making you ready. That whole process, it might be 3 years or 1 year before you entered the dark night of the soul. The intensity will build up and you'll feel lonely and lonely and lonely, and you'll at this point where you're everything you're doing, it'll make you stop everything. Your career, your job, your relationships, your friendships, it'll make you stop every fucking thing. People will leave you. This will happen. Dark night of the soul, people automatically will leave you. You don't have to do much. They'll just walk away. Not in a negative way, just they'll fell out of your life normally. It's like your friends suddenly get they were busy or something like that. This might happen, and because it is for you to go inside yourself, deep down, very deep down, to do the deepest work you can imagine, to empower yourself. So at this time, being alone is extremely important. At certain degree and certain amount of time. Without that, it's too disturbing. Everything will be very intense. You perceive everything very intensely. But once you've seen your own light, the very first step you took out of the dark night of the soul, I promise you, you'll feel it's like a new birth. It's like you'll feel like a newborn. Everything is all the compression you had in that dark night of the soul, the entire darkness and entire intensity, this negativity and all that pressure you have, it opens up and the ray of light just falls on you, which is your own light. Once you see that, there is no stopping. It's like you'll become a child again, literally like a child. Everything is alive. You can feel the plants and the energy of the plant more closely when you walk towards certain plants, and you can feel the connection with all the nature. Dark night of the soul, you cannot hurt anything. It's impossible for you to hurt anything. You just can't hurt any living thing. You will be so sensitive at the time that you're sensing and perceiving, and like your body is responding to so many things at the time that it is impossible to have a thought of hurting something. Most people will become vegetarians at the time when they are going through dark night of the soul. I was able to help a few people in my life. They say that they're alive because of me. I'm very grateful for that knowingly or unknowingly I helped them. It's like my soul, it's like my soul's energy just saw that they're going through that, and I couldn't stop myself helping them. It's just whatever I could, I did, and I'm blessed that my soul was able to get itself used to help someone. But I couldn't save a friend he was too nice for the world. It's like him and me, we both had kind of like same childhood, which is abusive, but mine was more intense. But he's too sweet, very sweet guy, and I saw him entering the dark night. I saw him, the cloud of the darkness it came. I can see that because I'm there. I lived in that space for 3 months. I can see when people are going through that. It's impossible for me not to see it because I was there, and I know when we enter, the phase changes, the eyes, everything will change. So I saw him entering. That's also the time he cut me off. He cut contact with me because that's how the dark night of the soul is. All the sources which are helping you and also not helping you will have to be cut. It is your own soul's journey to your own soul, your own strength. The path is always alone. You cannot grab and take people there. It's impossible. You're delaying the process and intensifying the process more if you're clinging to people at the time. And the dark night of the soul will not let you do that either. It's so intense that the path is always alone. The path to yourself is always alone. And just few days before, I spoke to a friend about that he's entering the darkness of his own soul. I spoke with few people in my life just few days before he killed himself. It's too saddening for me that he just left. But death is part of life. Just too sweet of a guy. It's sudden for me to see this because I thought that he might go into depression, but he decided to end his life. It's his choice. It takes guts to do that. I respect him for that. I wish he stayed a little more, just faced it. But that's his choice. That's his choice. I mean, but death is part of life though. And I decided to use his name as my nickname. His name is John. It's like a fun name. Whenever I go out and like to dance and stuff like that, and partying is my party name. So I'm trying to keep him alive. In the sense, not him, but a lesson he taught me and a lesson I taught him through we both meeting each other. I want to keep that alive and remind myself that life is so short. It's very, very short. If we don't know how to use it, it'll run really quick. 60 to 80 years of life is not that long life. We trap ourselves in so much stupidity about thinking negative about people, that one thing which disturbs the whole thing. It's like, you get up, you wake up and you do things, and that one guy, this one guy who's like, crosses you in traffic, this one guy who said something, this one woman did something, the mind just goes on, it's wasting its time. All the time we waste in watching stupid videos, reading stupid posts on Facebook and all kinds of shit. Sleep zone to sleep zone, we are wasting it. For me to be more conscious, I decided to keep his name. It's my belief that, it's not a belief, but I don't know how to explain this because it's illogical. There is no logic to this to explain. Whoever the people I meet in my life who are going through the intensity, their dark night of the soul, or whatever the situation they are in, that deep depth, deep heartbrokenness, when I meet them, it's like, it's just not happening in this life, because I met people who we are completely in different backgrounds, entirely grew up different, in different fields, different languages, different everything. But when we meet, the connection is so pure and so good that we never felt like we just met. It felt like we'd known each other since a long time. It is my view on this that we keep following each other from many lifetimes, teaching each other, keep evolving with each other. The connections I have with certain kind of people in my life, I feel this. In this life, I might have missed him. Not missed him, but didn't go further. We had plans to travel and all that. It didn't go through. It's okay. Next life, I'll find him. So it's kind of like, dark night of the soul is very intense. Very, very, very intense. And the things it will teach you, you cannot find that in any book. It's impossible to find those things in books. It will deeply nourish you with wisdom. And the wisdom will never end. It keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. Every day in your actions, in your things, you'll still have fears, you'll have all those things. But the way you handle it will change. If you're going through this period of time, if you're in your dark night of the soul or came out of the dark night of the soul, your life is beginning. It is about to get so much fun. It is about to get amazing. It'll blow your mind. It's so hard to find words to describe the beauty you're going to see after you come out of the dark night of the soul. It will take a couple of years, but just the very first step itself will show you so many things that for the very first time you will feel like your soul is leading you. It is leading you to the point where you need it to go. It is taking actions on behalf of you. I'll give an example for this. There were things I did. There are books I bought. I had no memory of buying them. Many years ago I bought them, but I never read them. They're right in my bookshelf. after my dark night of the soul, the very first step I took out of. So after my dark night of the soul, the books opened up for me. Once I took the step out of the dark night of the soul, exactly every sentence, every word I read is meant for the time I'm reading. It's like my soul arranged this home, this place. I peeled my layers right here with deep crying, and I had this amazing spot to meditate. It's like everything happened. It's like I made, from past 2.5 years, I made things ready for the dark night of the soul without even knowing. This is how your soul will prepare you if you're entering the dark night of the soul. There were many books I bought, I never read them, but I bought that for this moment, after the dark night of the soul, to read them. Till then, the books were not even open for me. It's like a good read, but no experiential understanding, or I'm not feeling it. Just like a reading, that's all. It's like knowledge. You're gaining the knowledge, but no experience linked towards it. There is no wisdom to understand those books. Very powerful. It's like if you read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, before the dark night of the soul, a couple of years after the dark night of the soul, if you read the same book, it's entirely different, completely different. So not only that, in tantric books and Shiva Sutras about deep consciousness, Shiva Sutras is very old text about explaining about consciousness. It's very, very deep knowledge. It takes a lot to understand that. Probably one of the oldest on the planet, explaining about masculine and feminine, and how the consciousness we have is a piece of God's consciousness, and how this piece of consciousness is evolving to know itself that it is the piece of God consciousness, to the point of your liberation. So all these things were planned by my soul for me to have this experience. My money was kept aside. It's like the whole thing, like, I saved some money because I'm not working since past 1 year. All these things were like, I made ready for this moment when it is hitting me hard. When I'm going through these things, once that opens, once I came out, that wisdom is just pouring in and making me understand all these things. So that's the magic of the dark night of the soul. It'll lead you. It'll show you who you really are. In Vipassana meditation, it took me to the state of Samadhi. I've seen a glimpse of what enlightenment is. It took me that far. So my whole channel, I don't know where I will post this. I might post this just for my friends or on YouTube. I don't know yet, but I might post on my YouTube channel, because this is necessary to get out this message I'm given. Because dark night of the soul is not an easy thing to deal with. Because whatever the way I can explain it to you, the way I dealt with it later, I took some herbs once I came out of it, because dark night of the soul is so intense that you lose weight. I lost 30 lbs at the time when I was going through that a few years ago. It's automatically happened. I ate 1 apple a day for a few days, like to a week almost. I didn't eat anything, just like, I don't even remember that I need to eat. I forced myself eating an apple. I just literally forced myself. So that will happen in the dark night of the soul. It's so intense that it has its own rhythm. I can call it an ecosystem probably. I don't know if it's the right term, but it has its own way of taking you. It'll lead you in that. You need to learn to surrender when you are facing the dark night of the soul. Surrender is absolutely necessary. without surrenderance to the experience you're having, the bliss wouldn't open. With your surrenderance, you will be, first time in your life, you will be open to grace. What grace really means, not the words which we say before we eat at the table, not the fancy words we created. The real grace. What does grace means and what is it to be in grace? To feel grace and be in the mode of grace for days and months. It's like a blessing. Everything, there is no place in the entire cosmos where there is no grace. We are not open to it all the time, that is all. Grace is everywhere. Everywhere. Even in death, there is grace. But we are not open to see it. But Dark Night of the Soul will show you. It'll keep you there actually. It'll keep you in that mode for days and months and weeks. It is so amazing that you lose your shit. You cannot say a single word. It's absolutely indescribable. Because that beauty you are seeing is beyond the logical mind. It's beyond all the words in the dictionary we created. It is something out of your mind. All the parts of the mind and everything, your emotion, everything we have, it is out of it. It is in your soul level almost. So it's beyond the mind, and mind tries to describe it because it wants to break it open for you, to make you understand what is this experience you're having. It'll try hard, but it's impossible to frame a sentence when you're in that zone of that purity. It is so divine that you lose yourself in the beauty of nature. When you just take a walk, it is so deeply satisfying that you don't even know how to explain that to yourself and to others. This might go till 3 months or 6 months, this amazing phase of life where you will never, I can bet you that you never felt this way. It's so amazing that we never seen this before. And after the Dark Night of the Soul, you will get there. This will happen. But the journey is not that easy. Dark Night of the Soul is not easy. So it will clear all the clutter you have built up. I hope this video helps you if you're in the Dark Night of the Soul or out of it. I am very grateful that you are blessed with this experience because Dark Night of the Soul is not for everyone. It is for chosen people. It is for people who are evolving. We will have a great responsibility. Once your consciousness rises, you'll see things clearly and you tend to go forward in life faster than other people. It might take few years for us to understand what's going on and all that. But once you see the strength, you'll keep going forward faster. You learn things faster. You'll go there. You'll move a little faster. With that fastness, your responsibility to help other people will grow. This is the whole reason I'm making with these videos. Even though it'll take some time for me to edit all these things and create this content without me profiting on this thing. Because there are many people who are describing these things and they have their own websites to help you and all that. Even the people who never went through Dark Night of the Soul, they're doing it. I'm not trying to condemn them. It might be their way of living and their way of earning. But I didn't choose this as of now. There are people who are asking me that I should get into therapy and help people who are narcissistically abused and who are going through their spiritual journey and all that. See, the point is the people who are trying to help on YouTube, not all of them, but many of them, they don't even know where they are going. It's just learned from certain books and certain things, and they're making key points, which we will go through that in like 10 minutes and 20-minute videos. We'll watch that and we'll go to the next video. That never enters the mind unless the person gone through the stuff he or she is talking about. The energy transmission will not happen. And for me, I'm going through my own journey, even though I'm helping some people I know. And my own Kundalini awakening is leading me. And I can't confirm that I can't confirm that I am going through a Kundalini awakening. Even though I know that I had a Kundalini awakening, I don't want to say it. I want to take more time. Maybe a few more years. I decided to give 5 years. What's the rush? Why the rush? To earn some money saying that you're an awakened person? I have no answer for these kind of things. But making this video made me really happy because it's a memory. It's kind of like a faded memory. It's alive but still faded in a way, because I'm saying it faded because it doesn't have much emotional burden on me. If I just came out of the dark night of the soul, it will be very intense to even describe this. It's like without changing my emotions, it'll be very intense. And I couldn't speak properly, and it's like it's not that easy to get the words out when we are going through or just came out of the dark night of the soul. So it's there. It's like it's in my mind. It's like this side of me which made me powerful is right there. But the intensity and the things I felt at the time, that doesn't have any control on me. That's all. With time, you'll grow. That's one of the reasons I'm giving time and making therapy as my life's way of living, like my mission. Like some people ask me, suggested to me that I could do this. I don't feel like I'm there yet. I don't feel like I have that necessary intensity to pour my energy into someone who is going through this as of now. Even though this video is helping many people, and in my wish, at least one person gets help, that's enough for me. I'm satisfied. So yeah, thank you for sticking and listening to my voice here and my experience. Hope this helps you. Many blessings to you if you are going through this thing, because it happens for a very good reason. You might not see it right now, but it'll come to you. Your own strength will show up to you. I wish this on everyone who is going through this, because once you see it, there is no turning back. You cannot turn back. It's like it's like your life to the point, the beginning of the dark night of the soul. So far, whatever the life you had becomes your past life. It's like you cannot relate to that anymore. It's like mind-blowing to me because I had a 6-figure job and it was pretty good, and it's like I could work as long as I want, but I quit the job. Now, even though I'm having some financial problems and stuff, I just can't go back there. That's like someone else's life. That life I had in information technology, and I was into cybersecurity, and I was into cybersecurity incident management. Like we protect the company from hackers and stuff. So that's like my past life. I can't even think that I can go and work again in that zone. It is unexplainable to me. I just can't explain this because When my friends ask me that, you can just find a job or something, it's like, that guy is dead. He's gone. So, all the very best to you. Many blessings and love to you.